What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, of course, as you know, this is a continuation of the series that I've been making videos about. How many games do you see this NBA team winning? And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Denver Nuggets. Last year, obviously, everyone knows. Whether you know or not know, let me tell you straight up. The Denver Nuggets, of course, they had reigning MVP Nikola Jokic at the forefront, and basically everything was centered around him because Jamal Murray was previously hurt the year before and hasn't played. To my surprise, I thought it was going to be a 1-2 punch of Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic, but unfortunately Michael Porter Jr. didn't play at all last year either. So that just left Jokic with a cast of others. And by others I don't mean in a bad way. You definitely, Will Barton is a pretty good player. Aaron Gordon is a pretty good player. They definitely gave him an extension. And a few other pieces. But again, like I said, no Michael Porter Jr. a year ago and no Jamal Murray a year ago. So in that, they only won 48 games last year. They went 48-34 last year in the West and ended up being the 6th seed. And them being the 6th seed in the playoffs, they ended up playing the, future champion in the Golden State Warriors in the first round, and they lost I believe 4-1. I believe it was 4-1. Denver only squeezed out one game against the Warriors. And like I said, just looking at rosters and just looking at the Nuggets roster from a year ago and just basing it off of what their roster could potentially be this year with Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray returning. How good could they actually be with Jokic not only being the reigning MVP, but the 2-time reigning MVP? For me, it's definitely a long shot to say, will they be representing the Western Conference in the finals? That's a long shot. I'm looking at the roster presently, and I'm just saying, when you look at it top to bottom, when you look at, other than, we know what Jokic is capable of, right? We know Jokic is one of those players that can potentially put up 30, with 15 assists and 10 rebounds. Like, he's a walking triple double at times during the season. But also, he's another one of those players who, I talked about this in previous videos, about guys that, conditioning, about guys that are, ready for April, May, June, if your team gets that far. So I talked about that with previous players. And Jokic is another player that I'll mention in that same, spectrum. But again, adding pieces like KCP is a huge pickup. KCP is definitely one of the better defenders in the league. He can shoot the ball, when needed. Has his moments where he disappears, but also he's a great pickup for them. Like I said, Jeff Green is a okay pickup. I'm more interested. I like Capaze. I like Capaze, the guard. I like him. They have Bruce Brown now, so it'll be interesting to see how far that the Nuggets do go with the young pieces coming back, because Michael Porter Jr. is only 24 years old. I mean, talk about a young movement. Talk about young players. Jamal Murray is only 25. Jokic, 27. So you have a core right there. Listen, all healthy, right? All healthy. Let's just say they're all healthy. And we've seen what Jamal Murray was capable of in the bubble. So if he's healthy, if Michael Porter Jr. is coming back from his back injury healthy, and the one thing about, see, that's the one thing, like, even when Michael Porter Jr. was in college at Missouri, the back was an issue. And him sliding all the way down to where he did in the draft, that was a reason why. And now you see he's having back troubles in the league. Is like that kind of causes for caution if you are a team, like the Nuggets, and you are, in contention. Like, you're literally, honestly, like, with a talent like Jokic, you can be one extra piece away from legit contention for the championship. And it's no ways around that. If you look at their team, just look at those three, add a Aaron Gordon, KCP, but then you would need more pieces. Like, you would need more pieces. Again, losing out on certain guys. Losing out on certain guys you didn't have a year ago definitely will hurt. But you replace Will Barton with KCP, which is honestly, Will Barton can score at a higher clip, but I believe that KCP can defend much better. You got Jokic, and listen, if Jamal Murray is coming back and he's playing at not a superstar level, but if he's playing in a semblance of, he's giving you consistently 18 a game, you can get, 18, maybe 20 points from Porter Jr. Jokic wouldn't have to do as much because he basically carried them all the way to the playoffs to be a 6 seed. And having 48 wins last year, how many wins do I say, or do I see, that the Denver Nuggets will get next year? This is barring any type of injury. This is them being whole and healthy going into the entire season. I see the Denver Nuggets being around that 48, 49, 50. Okay. 52 wins. I'm going to be respectable because of what, Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray is capable of. So I'm going to say about 52 wins. 52 wins. I'm thinking they're going to be in that 4-5 range, right? I think they might be in that 4-5 range, and I think the first round they might play a team like a Dallas or a Phoenix. I think that's where they season might be going. Or I could be wrong and it could be a play-in team, right? But I don't see them sliding that far down on the standings from a year ago with two hitters like Murray and Porter Jr. returning. It's just, the NBA is based on two things, right? You can either have one of the greatest players to ever play the game on your team, and he could take you there. What we saw what Jokic did last year. Or you can have a collective, and then they come together and they make something special happen. So we will see. I'm definitely interested to see what the Nuggets do going forward, because I like their young talent. I like their young core. They have a great coach. Coach Malone is definitely one of the better coaches in the league. So we will see if they make any moves. I doubt if they do anything like splash worthy, but we will see going forward. Like I said, the Nuggets have a young enough talent to be one of the better teams in the West, and we will see how things pan out for them. As always, like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to this channel. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I never want to forget that. If I forget that, I apologize. But thank everyone for tuning in, watching, listening. This is the What More Do You Want Network. It's Astronaut H. If you like more content like this, don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network. I'll catch you guys on the next video.